There is a video produced by the World Mission Society Church of God to educate and promote church members around the world. This is a video that claims that Jang Gil-Ja prayed for the communion service at the Passover event presided by Ahn Sahng-hong at the Dongbu Wedding Hall in Seoul in 1984.
태양이여 고개를 들라.
This is a photo that captures the questionable scene from the promotional video seen above. You can see clearly the subtitle in Korean.
에오미오니 6월제월 세영찬 축사.
The English translation is, Mother's Prayer for the Passover Communion. However, this is a false claim that is completely different from the fact. You can realize it in the following photo. In front of the podium, you can see a Korean-style dining table and 2 water barrels. And a big bowl of the Passover white bread was placed on the dining table. Of course, the 2 water barrels would have contained the Passover wine. What is Ahn Sahng-hong doing in this photo? He is praying for the Passover communion with his hands covering on the bread and wine. Let's look at one more photo taken on the same day. A Korean-style dining table and 2 barrels are placed in front of the podium. It looks the same as the previous photo. However, the bowl of rice cake disappears and becomes invisible. The reason is because it is after the of communion has been completed. The 2 barrels of grape wine might be empty. Jang Gil-Ja only took the closing prayer as a female missionary of the Seoul church. Jang Gil-Ja cleverly distorted and edited this photo. She made the church members unaware of the empty table and the empty barrels by only showing the yellow dotted portion. Jang Gil-Ja took a close-up of the original photo and edited only the necessary parts. In this way, she made the bread table and wine barrel placed in front of the podium invisible. The scene in this promotional video created by Jang Gil-Ja was fabricated by manipulating the photo. They spreaded the false information by adding the subtitle Mother's Prayer for the Passover Communion to the manipulated photo. In fact, Jang Gil-Ja has never prayed for the Passover Communion in 1984. After finishing the Holy Communion, she only gave a closing prayer. At that time, it was common for female missionaries to offer closing prayers. World Mission Society Church of God is deceiving their members thinking that Jang Gil-Ja prayed for the Passover Communion in 1984 by manipulating a photo and putting the wrong subtitle. Why did they create this false information? This is because it is difficult to prove the doctrine of God the Mother through the Bible alone. We remember Jesus' words in the Gospel of John. You belong to your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desire. He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies. The World Mission Society Church of God is a church that creates false and fabricated materials and deceives its members. Is there salvation for those who belong to such a church?